Welcome to the Member xCite presentation. This is a chance for members to increase their profile amongst the businesses here and online. It's not a sales pitch, but a 10-minute insight into your field, a business innovation, or interesting area of your life. The concept is to provide great content that's helpful or interesting to the audience, and members are welcome to apply to present an xCite across any of our events, as well as our Facebook Lives, reaching audiences of over 10,000, building your brand credibility, and exponentially growing your business. Ladies and gentlemen, your xCite presenter today is Micallef from Property Investment Store. Maria is going to take us through why now is a good time to invest in a new property. With lots of uncertainty in the housing and jobs market, investment in property has been affected, but in the wise words of billionaire Warren Buffett, be greedy when others are fearful. In this xCite, Maria will explore the benefits of investing in new property right now and why cash flow is the C word to focus on. Maria Micallef is passionate about helping people make money through property. Working for the Property Investment Store, a company that has 20 years of experience in wealth creation, she wants to help people combat their property investment fears. She hopes to do that by creating awareness, providing education, and offering end-to-end support. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Maria Micallef.
Hang on, let me get my time. I'm going to do my best to keep this to 10 minutes because there is a lot to cover, but I really did cut it down, everyone. And what I'm going to share with you is some thoughts, some research and opinions. And, ultimately it's important to get financial advice with these sorts of things. But I'm going to explore with you why now is the time to invest in new property. Okay, it would help if this moved. There we go. It's just a bit slow, I'm finding. So why invest in property at all? Well, ultimately, it's about creating cash flow or achieving capital growth. And while everyone would love to have both, the truth is that it's usually one or the other that you will lean towards when it comes to property. And so it's about identifying what your actual goals and objectives are. And, ultimately you may find that you'll invest in one property to achieve cash flow and get that instant return, or it might be something that you'll then hold on to for the long term. So you don't have to be limited with one option or the other. But I do love Robert Kiyosaki and his train of thought. He's a cash flow guy. I'm a cash flow girl. If it doesn't make me money today, forget about it. So we'll explore that option as well. And speaking of today, the current situation we're in is an incredible time to invest simply because the interest rates are extraordinarily low at 2.09%. So, you're going to get a good loan for a lot less, which is fantastic. And as billionaire Warren Buffett said, be greedy when others are fearful. So while others are still trying to figure out what to do, where to go, now is the time to seek some advice and explore this opportunity, because I don't know if we'll ever get interest rates this low again. And, as split ends would say, history never repeats. Well, I think that was tongue in cheek because we know it does. And back in 2008, we saw a global financial crisis where many predicted that the real estate industry would crash and property would devalue. Well, the opposite actually happened. In 2009, properties in capital cities around Australia increased by 13.6% and a further 6% in 2010. So it's very important, therefore, to just be careful who you listen to. Ultimately, it's always a good time to invest somewhere in Australia, and it's about identifying which market from the thousands that are available. There are good value properties you can access from as low as $350K and at the same time achieve a yield of anywhere between 5% and 15%, and that's where it's really good to seek some advice in that area. So now, why invest in new property? Well, I wasn't always into it till I got educated myself. One of the benefits definitely is that you're only paying stamp duty on the land. So you're saving a few thousand there. Now, new properties, I've written, are higher in tax depreciation, but the laws have actually changed. So you're only going to get tax depreciation on new properties. You will not be able to get them on existing. So it's a fantastic tax benefit. Being a new property, there's little to no maintenance, so you don't have to pay out of pocket. And you do have a 6-year warranty there to protect your investment initially. There are additional tax benefits you can also receive, and it's really good to speak to your finance professional about that, because the way you structure it can help you also get more money back in your pocket. The wonderful thing about new property is you're going to areas where they're in high demand, and that's where we all do our research and our homework for the benefit of the investor, so you can make an educated decision on where those areas are, because tenants ultimately do love new homes. Okay, there's nothing like moving into a new place, and it's great to know that you're getting a fixed price. There's no emotion involved in it. It is what it is. You know what you're up for from the get-go. Now, in this current climate, what's also terrific is that construction is an essential service, and not only is it creating, it's maintaining thousands of jobs around the country, and for the investor, it creates positive cash flow opportunities, and that really is the focus at the moment. You might remember it was all about negative gearing years ago. Well, now people are seeing the benefits of positive gearing. So why invest then in an SDA or NDIS property? Well, just like a new property, you're getting all those benefits, but so much more. So for those people who want to also give back, you are helping people with disabilities who are in desperate need of accommodation. There's 28,000 eligible participants, and 6,500 are in desperate need to get out of the institutions they're in. And that's where people like us come in. The tenants themselves, they do have disabilities, so they're there to stay for the long term. They haven't got the freedom to up and go and move place to place. And the homes are built where they are located now, near their families, near their carers, in an environment that's friendly and familiar to them. And the fact that it's a new home, well, it's far more exciting than the hospitals and the nursing homes they're currently residing in. It's a government-backed initiative. That's what excites me the most. So the funding is coming from the government. So that's there for 20 years, a nice secure investment that you know is government backed, and it's bipartisan backed. That's extremely important, because it doesn't matter which government's in power, it's here to stay. And one of the questions I receive is, well, maybe the government will change their minds. Well, I'd be surprised if they did, because it's costing more than $500,000 to house just one disabled participant in a hospital every year. That's the fee per year. So this is a far greater saving for the government by rewarding investors through this program. And that is what they're doing. They're incentivising investors to get on board. They'll save 80% in the process, and the investor wins, as does the participant who's got that disability. The way they're incentivising is they're multiplying the usual rental income by 3 or 4 times the amount. So that's where the boon is for the investor, and that's what pushes the yield up to 15%. And it is $100,000 return each year, and they're not numbers I'm picking out of the air. That comes through the actual government calculator that I'll give you a sneak peek into. So just quickly, SDA does stand for Specialist Disability Accommodation, and it's a funding stream within the NDIS with $700 million allocated per year. And the wonderful thing is that the NDIS is making payments to the investor where they can achieve a 15% return on average. Now I want to share a case study with you. So this is our partner in the building and construction, Allegra Homes. Nothing like a concrete example. Oh, pardon the pun. Here we've got a home and it's $670,000, and that's combining the land price, construction, the development fees. So $670K is what it will cost to build this home in Ipswich in Queensland, which is where we have a huge population of participants. And the return, you'll notice, is $101,000 per annum. Now, this is a dual income property, which means we've got a disabled participant in each home and a living carer in one of the homes looking after the two. So here is the calculator I briefly mentioned. So when it comes to investing, anyone who is interested, whoever they go see for this, they can populate this by indicating the type of home, its location. You'll see the word robust there. I'll talk about that shortly. And the number of participants, the type of home, and there's the investment. You'll see there that the investor receives $45,700 in return, as well as a reasonable rent contribution of $7,000. That's per annum for one participant. And then the second participant, so it's a total of $52,000 there. My screen's just frozen. But then we also have another participant, which is just slightly less. There it is. So that's what formulates the 100,000 total. There are 3 revenue streams that come to the investor, and they're all government funded. 25% of the disabled participant's pension comes in, plus that rental income that's been multiplied 3-4-fold, as well as the reasonable rent contribution scheme that comes through. So that's how we get at that 15% yield. So people looking to invest in SDA, in my research, I've discovered a lot of interesting things, because personally I want to get into one of these, but it's really important to know what type of home is being built. Have a look at its location and its functional design. I've seen some homes with 4 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. That will not appeal to the carer, never mind the people with disabilities sharing. So we look at homes that have a separate room and bathroom for each participant and its carer. So look at that, look at where it's being built and whether the demand is actually there. A number of people are seeking to make some good money from this by focusing on the very highly disabled people. There are 4 categories of disability. The very top end are the ones who are quadriplegic, and that represents only 8% of participants. So you want to look at something where you know you're going to be able to afford it, because those homes are also dearer, but you're going to meet that demand and actually be able to get the tenants. So make sure that that provider can also get you your tenants. Find out what their process is. Do they have an end-to-end solution? How do they manage the monies coming back to you? Have they built any homes yet? What's the turnaround time? Lots of questions, and I'm happy to help further with that for anyone who wants to know. So just to wrap up, where we are different is we actually focus on the robust population of people who have disabilities. So anyone who's doing this should be certified, of course. We provide an end-to-end solution from the financing through to the property management and everything in between. We guide our people all the way through, and we also service the massive population that's in need of this. So that's pretty much what I wanted to say. We are leaders in what we do, and I'm really proud to be working for this company, because they lead by the heart to help people achieve some great results. Thank you so much for your presentation. If anyone wants any more information about that, I'm happy to send an info pack to you. And yeah, thanks for your time.
Fantastic. Thanks, Maria Micallef. Put your hands together for Maria Micallef. We've got time for maybe one quick question before we run off to the one-to-ones. And I think Michael's got his hand up for that already. 2. We'll take 2. That's it. And then we'll have to move on. So Michael, fire away.
Hey, Maria, great presentation. Thanks for that. Can I ask a question around the income that you received as the investor? Does that change based on the disability of who's living there in regard to the level of disability?
I'm actually not sure that it does. I would have to check that. I think, no, it doesn't. I would say not. I would check that. I'll check my own words, but I'm pretty sure it's consistently, the same across the 2 top groups. No, that's not true. I have to check that, Michael, in all honesty. I've seen that the returns are less for those properties with high people, but that could be because the cost of the housing is more expensive. So if that's okay, I'll get back to you on that.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Awesome. And Tiz has got a question as well.
Would you see this as a good investment for self-managed super funds?
Absolutely. For people who have got the minimum entry level to get in on these properties, it's definitely a good way to achieve a good return. The only thing is, obviously, the fund stays with the self-managed super fund, but over 20 years, that does convert to $2 million. So it's a nice way to go.
Fantastic.
Great presentation.
Yeah, terrific presentation. Congratulations. Well done.